The slides are visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move on. Next slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see the title on the screen. Interdisciplinary Dimensions to Teaching and Research in Social Sciences. My name is Mahesh Rajgopal. I'm a professor, University of Mysore, MBA department. Well, outline of this presentation will be on three important topics. Okay.
ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ
Manage.
ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Hmm?
ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್.
What is interdisciplinary teaching? Why interdisciplinary teaching? And then I would like to give an example, live example as to how, if you look at a research problem or a teaching issue or a concept issue from only commerce and management, perspective, and then put the allied subjects into place, then how your presentation would become more interesting to the students, as we are now looking into Gen Z students. For them, all information is available on the fingertips. And as a teacher, you have a larger challenge to keep them intact, keep them inside the classroom, make them listen to your lecture is a really Herculean task. And I would say this is one of the ways through which you can make your presentation a little more interesting, looking at different perspectives. In fact, this is the one that the new education policy warrants you. You're supposed to be not working in isolation. You have to embrace all the disciplines that are there. And so that your experiences in your interaction or when you there are some frictions with different subjects, then you as a teacher will also grow. And then your presentation will be more interesting. And the students' acceptance level will be higher in the classroom. So this is what exactly is the mandate given by the new education policy. Become more interdisciplinary, more multidisciplinary, so that the challenges of teaching subjects in a classroom would become little easier. Therefore, I would like to take up some example at a later stage. I would like to take them on the integration of economic theories, corporate evidences, and judicial trends. This I would like to take it on as we move on. Yes. What is interdisciplinary? I think very simple. You integrate information, data, techniques, tools, perspectives, concepts from two or more disciplines to advance the fundamental understanding or as to how to solve problems where the solutions of such problems are beyond the scope of a single discipline. Such approach is based on a conceptual model that integrates theoretical perspective from different disciplines, uses the study and design methodology that is not limited to any one field, and this integration will be throughout the multiple phases of the research process. Three key defining characteristics I would like to put more emphasis on as to how we actually teach in a classroom rather than the theoretical part of it. Therefore, I'm just skidding it through. Two or more disciplines, as I said, as a part of the investigative process, you are using integrated or mixed ways in order to see you produce something new. And the resultant product will be really a value addition because you're looking at very holistically the entire problem, so that you will get a different idea, you get under the skin of that particular concept or a research problem, and whatever solution that you are going to give you would not have derived from one single discipline. And this integration requires union of different assumptions, mechanisms, and analysis. And it is similar to a painter mixing one or more the basic colors to come out with something completely new color. And why it is in social science? Why interdisciplinary? There is a wealth of informative literature in the field of interdisciplinary studies. And mostly this got going after the globalization. The globalization which makes the interest in interdisciplinary research in social science an urgent one. And the digital revolution that we are now going through and its extensions like many artificial intelligence, machine learning, and things like that have redefined business models like never before. Actually, we are going through this industrial revolution 4.0, which is called as digital revolution. In the midst of that revolution came COVID-19. And because of COVID-19, that revolution got little more speed and tenacity and intensity. Because otherwise, what would have taken, say, 5 years down the line to see a substantial change in the process, COVID-19 made us to speeden up the process because there was no other alternative. We had to rely on technology. We had to get ourselves accustomed to the outcomes of the technology. So therefore, there was no other option left for us. So we had to adjust. And that has become a true game changer for social science research. So therefore, there is a need to produce an innovative research that has the ability to integrate social sciences and humanity disciplines together and maximize the giving and taking among them. And in this context, business research has a big role to play. Because we have to come out from the water tight compartments and creating a winning conditions to innovate. Because I've been working in the BOS for a long period of time. And I know it for sure, being a management professor. Our discipline actually is the basic very nature of our discipline is multidisciplinary in nature. We draw heavily from economics. We draw from psychology. We draw from anthropology. We draw from statistics. You just name the subject, languages, literature, law. You name the subject, it is there in management. And that is the reason this post-graduation course in management is open to all disciplines. As you might be knowing, anybody can pursue MBA. And after MBA, if you want to do research in PhD, if you are a master degree holder in any discipline, including medicine, including science and technology, including literature or any of the social sciences, if you have a qualifying examination, say NET, SLET, KSET, or an university entrance level in an entrance examination in management, irrespective of your PG domain, you are able to take up a research in management science. So having come from that discipline, which gives me that flexibility to cut across different disciplines and integrate them all in order to see that you take prudent decisions in a corporate business setting, I feel interdisciplinary thirst or interdisciplinary integration is very, very crucial to understand complex business problems. And this is where I'm now getting on with. This is the actual part of it. I would like to make this presentation up to say 3 o'clock and then stop for 10 minutes, break for 10 minutes for any questions. And then after the gap of say half an hour or so, then I'll come back again. So in the first part, I will look into only the economic theories. And in the second part, I would like to get in with the corporate evidences and judicial trends. And I'll be using a very common man's language. I'm not going to make it very, very technical because I know the heterogeneity in the composition of this group, I would like other, participants other than commerce and management should also participate and try to get something out of this. Yeah, these are some of the headlines that we see. I'm not going to take on the complicated part. I'll just pick the ones that is easily understandable and ones which is very, very common to everybody. So these are some of the headlines that we see in business newspapers, that one businessman siphoned off 6,500 crores in collusion with the officials of Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank. Then Bush and Steel siphoned off more than 2,000 crores. Then Bush and Steel has to be taken over by Tata Steel under insolvency proceedings, and they settled the claim for 35,200 crores. Nirav Modi defrauded the bank to the tune of 13,800 crores using fake guarantees. Not only him, there are two top PNB officials were hand in glove for this kind of 24 others. Not one man. Many of them come together. Then Gitanjali Group, 3,258 crores using dummy companies. We call them as shell companies to divert money for the personal use of the promoter by name Mehul Choksi. Then Religare, I'm just taking on the headlines now, 740 crores. 1% beverages, Enron. This I'm going to discuss at the later part. This is supposed to be the giant of all corporate scandals. The giant, the starting point, the trigger point. Then the Satyam. Satyam is an example. It is told that it is India's Enron. India's Enron is Satyam. All that is there about Satyam is Asatyam. You should also see the English part of it, the language part of it. I remember the headline saying 1 + 1 is equal to 11, the Satyam equation. When I look at this as purely from a language perspective, I am thrilled, because nothing could have presented this Satyam fraud better than this 1 + 1 is equal to 11, the Satyam equation. Then Volkswagen, you can see, yes, how it is damaging the environment. This company was built in Germany, which is known for automobile expertise. 150 years of trust and confidence built. 150 years. It fell like a pack of cards in 15 days. 150 years of good thing that you have done. An empire that you have created. Hall of fame to hall of shame in 15 days. 150 years of hall of fame down to hall of shame in only 15 days. I'll come to that case later. Then can there be any discussion on corporate frauds without the mention of this very, very charismatic person by name Vijay Mallya? Everybody knows. And till the time he touched airlines, all that he touched on the land and all the businesses that he set up on the earth, on the land, were successful. But I don't know what success has gone to his head. He tried to touch the skies through airlines, and there it all started, the other way around. Let me come to this. This is a case where whether all that he has done is done intentionally to kind of create fraud, or whether whatever he did was not intentional. People have got different viewpoints, and if at all there are any participants have some information, some discussion to make, I'll be more than happy to listen to them at the end. Then Ranbaxy, we call it a dirty pill. They in fact try to use substandard chemicals to sell tablets for an AIDS savaged country, South African countries. Even while now supporting, you have to make for a public cause. There also they used substandard chemical. That was called as dirty pill. Then diversion. S Bank diverted money to the tune of 3,700 crores. Cox and Kings, the travel giants, they siphoned off money 20,000 crores. The list goes on. Yes, Anil Ambani, Mukesh Ambani, the Ambani brothers. If one Ambani is known for his innovations, known for his good business, the other Ambani is known for having done something spectacularly bad, Anil Ambani. And now it has come to a time where probably the elder brother should bail out the younger brother. But their model of business is completely different. Their model is completely. There are two business models that I would like to talk about. One is a model which is built on trust, confidence, then CSR, corporate social responsibility, serving the society. I'm talking about the Tata model. I'm talking about the Wipro model. On the other hand, you have another model where you make efficient use of the resources, do highly competitive business, destroy the competitors, and make your business grow. This is Ambani and Adani kind of a model. Two different models. In fact, I would like to say there are two different ideologies that we come from, all of us. Since time immemorial, I'm telling you, the human civilization, as it evolved over a period of time, inclusive model and the exclusive model. Inclusive isn't something, you put them, all of them together. We are all equals, there is no discrimination. We're all together. There is no discrimination on the basis of race, gender, religion, nothing. On the other hand, there is an exclusive model. There are superiority complexes. I am superior, I am different, I am unique, I am important, so that is an exclusive model. All these will come into picture as I move on with some of the theories that I'm going to now teach after this. Then Byju's, again a classic example of how they made a mess of a golden opportunity to business. And then yes, Adani's, there was a Heidenberg report which immediately led to heavy losses on Adani stocks. And there is again one interesting economic theory called as market efficiency theory, wherein market doesn't know whether the information is right or wrong. Whatever the information that you give it to the market absorbs that information immediately, and immediately stock prices adjust. If it is a positive information, stock prices go up. If it is a negative information, it will fall down. I think this was a negative information, and therefore the stocks came crashing down. But after some time, it went north. Even Apple is not saved. It has got a battery scandal. The battery is very, very, it doesn't support the entire day or 1.5 days. It will completely go down in half a day or 3/4 of a day. Then the Facebook privacy scandal. So all these are the news that we see in business. These are the news that mostly, even if you are not into either teaching business or are not teaching economics or commerce or whatever, even in language, science teachers, somewhere when you scroll down the newspaper pages or watching news on television, all this probably you might have caught your eye. What is happening? Why the business, the companies, the corporates, are they fraudsters? Do they misuse hard-earned public money? People invest in shares and debentures and other securities of their companies, the bonds. Whether that hard-earned money which has been invested, is it worth investing in these companies? Why are then, what are these companies doing? Are they doing it for their own personal benefit? Or are they doing it in the larger interest of the general public? What is it up to? In this, I'm getting this context. Moral hazard is on the rise. We can see these kinds of things all over the place. Lemons are all over the place. So I'm using this word from one very important theory, market for lemons, Akerloff's market for lemons. I'll come to that theory later. All economics theories, moral hazard is also derived from there. All economics theories. Dysfunctional behavior. Again, a theory, a Nobel Prize winning theory on economics by name contract theory. In 2017, it got Nobel Prize. And he uses the word dysfunctional behavior. I'll come to also discussing this. How is it important for teachers like you and me? Because whenever these are Nobel laureates that I'm talking about, highly, cited research papers that I'm talking about. These results have lasting manifestations. Means it can be applied everywhere. It can be applied to your professional life. It can be applied to your personal life also. Let us come to that. COVID time breeds lemons. I will not use the word COVID time because it is a thing of past now. Let me use another word, distressed times. At the times of distress, we are going through a war now. In the midst of or towards the end of a war situation. And we know that life has become little, distressful for us also. We have, even a common man is affected by this. So now, who are these lemons, Anta? Who are these lemons? Lemons are those who resort to unethical means in order to gain or manipulate the system to their advantage. They are called as lemons. They are the people who suffer from a disease called as moral hazard. Now the question is, I had this question in one of the economics teachers refresher course, whether when times gets bad, is it a breeding ground for these lemons? Or when times gets bad, does it eliminate the lemons? Only the real ones, the meritorious ones, or the people with stuff, are they going to, rule the roost? Or is it the other way around? You should tell me towards the end. I will remember this question at 5 o'clock, and I would like to seek your answers on that. Where it all did this start? Who actually had a forethought, farsightedness to say that down the line, 250 years down the line, things are going to be like this. Companies are going to be like this. Who visualized it? Who contemplated it? None other than the father of economics, Adam Smith, in 1776, long back, 250 years ago. You know what did he say? He talks about a company, a corporation. I'll just brief it out for the sake of our non-commerce and non-management participants over here. You know how a business or a corporation is being set up, the organization structure. Say an Infosys, an MNC, say a Tata or a Reliance company. How does the organization structure look like? There are two important stakeholders, let me tell you. One is the people who bring in money. We call them as managers. Sorry, owners. They are the owners. They are called as shareholders. They are the people who bring in money into the business. And this money, who is going to manage this money? We call them as managers, the board of directors. Who hires them? Owners hire them. Shareholders hire them for salary, for compensation, for perks. But in the management of that company, there is a separation of owners and managers. There is a separation of owners and managers. Shareholders are different, directors are different. So shareholders and directors or managers. Shareholders bring in capital, whereas managers bring in expertise, their experience, their brains, their decision-making capacity, their leadership skills, their organizing skills, for which they are paid handsome salaries. You please check the top 10 CEO salaries in India. CEO salary, MD. Some of them runs to crores. Even chartered flights. Our own Kingfisher, he had a chartered flight as a director of the company. So the question is, capital comes from one angle, labor comes from another angle. Capital comes from owners, expertise comes from, I would say, Lakshmi comes from one angle, Saraswati comes from another angle. Lakshmi and Saraswati are combined in a corporate setting called as corporation. Therefore, Adam Smith said very long back, when these directors who are sitting over somebody else's money, not their own money, they are not managing their own money. Say in case of a single man business, an entrepreneurship, you bring in the money, you sit on the money, you manage the money, your own money. You're the owner, you're the manager. Himself is a manager, you're a owner. That is different. Whereas here it is not so. There is separation of ownership and management. Owners are who? Shareholders. Where are they? They are spread across the globe. Maybe I own a company share. I am sitting here and taking class. And who is managing my money? My money is being managed by somebody, some manager. Now you may be participants in this refresher course. You might hold the shares of some company. By holding the shares of the company, you are the owner. But you are not managing there. Who is managing? Some experts are managing on your behalf. You have trusted it and invested your money there. So therefore, this separation of ownership and management is a very tricky affair. Adam Smith said, 1776, I have this apprehension. I'm not sure. See, you are sitting some public money. You're sitting on some public money and you are managing that money. And money is such a temptation that I don't know whether you use it judiciously in the interest of the owners, or will you neglect it? Will you will you watch it? Will you watch it, other people's money? Will you watch it with the same vigilance with which owners watch their own money? There is a doubt, there is an apprehension. So taking that apprehension forward, there are a few of the theories which I would like to just touch upon before the break. Briefly, what do they? I'm not going in detail. I'm not going to detail because I want to apply this. I want to apply these theories in a commerce and in a corporate situation and see what is the remedy forward. What is the remedy forward? So now, agency theory, exactly after 200 years, this came. Theory of the firm, managerial behavior, agency cost, or the ownership structure. How do managers behave? You hire managers because of their expertise. Will they behave in the way the owners want them to behave? Or will they behave in their personal interests? And if they behave in the best interest of the owners, what will happen to the company? If they behave in their personal own interest, making money for themselves, moral hazard, lemons, then what will happen to the company? Then contract theory, as I said, these are the words which are from contract theory, is dysfunctional behavior. Oliver Hart. Then information asymmetry. They say agency theory's extension is contract theory. Then information asymmetry theory, an excellent theory which can be, let me tell you, it can be, applied to all walks of life. We call it as market for lemons. Do these people have market still? The lemons, people who are, you please look around, your co-teachers, your colleagues. if you ask me, there are two kinds of teachers that I have seen in my life. There are some people, teachers who will say, I have already published 80 articles. My 75 articles is over a period of 30 years. There are people, 10 years down the teaching profession already. They have, might have published 100 and plus articles. I've seen some of people around me. I'm publishing 150, 200 articles in a span of only 10, 15 years. They might have written books. They have got ISSN number, ISBN number. They might have attended 100 plus. I don't know. When they do all this, where is the time for them to teach in the classroom? I really don't know whether they have time to teach in the classroom. Because there's so much. I'm not saying it is not possible. I'm just trying to understand whether our system as of now is conducive enough to simultaneously teach, and as well as do the research. And the magnitude of the research is so high. I had invited one professor from Australian University, a very, very well-known professor. He was telling me I have around 4 to 5 PhDs produced under me in the last 25 years. I've got around 10 articles to my credit. 10 articles to my credit, and most of them being cited in thousands and lakhs. Where the number is on the quality, not on the quantity. Now, I don't know whether I'm triggering something else. But what about the quality? The quality is uncertain. When you have a lemonness intention in your mind, then the quality is going to be the first casualty. Then Modigliani and Miller, capital structure, for which Nobel Prize was awarded. I'll come to his theory in the context of some corporate scandals later, and traditional trade-off theory. These are economics theories, pure economics theories. I would like to tell you very frankly today, if at all commerce and management as a discipline has survived, it is because of economics. Economics is the mother of all social sciences. Without economics, there is no commerce. Without commerce, there is no management. Let us appreciate it. Let us not say, no, we are management, we are MB, we are different, we are superior. We prepare managers for corporates. No. We are the spillover of economics. All social sciences, economics appear to be the supreme subject from where we draw, because all of these theories that I'm talking about, all from economics professors. None of the Nobel Prize winning theory that I have come across from commerce and management, being myself a person from that domain, I'm saying I have not come across so far. If there is anything, please acknowledge. So now, what does agency theory say is, if a manager, I'm talking about, I've just skipped a few slides only to make you come to the crux of the theory, agency theory. Agents. Managers are the agents. Principal-agent relationship in a corporation, in a business corporation. Principal are the shareholders. Agents are the managers hired by the shareholders. There is a contract between them. What is that contract? The contract says, we will give you position, we will give you compensation, we will give you perquisites, everything that befits your stature, that befits your knowledge, your experience, everything. In turn, what do? Use all your expertise to take such business decisions that would enhance value of the shareholders, of the owners, maximizing value of the owners. How does the value of the owners, the shareholders, gets maximized? How? What is the process? When the shares held by them command good prices in the market, the share prices is on it goes north all the time. It enhances, it increases. When it increases, wealth of the shareholders increases. Economic welfare of the shareholders also increases. So therefore, you have been hired because we have money but no brains. You don't have money but you have brains. Lakshmi, Saraswati, bring it together. Then you are given complete freedom. You sit on the chair, take decisions, complete autonomy. When such an autonomy is given, the bigger question as Adam Smith posed, whether they use that autonomy in the best interest of their owners, or do they misuse, or even further, will they abuse that position? Will they abuse that dominant position? Because nobody is watching you. Nobody is watching you. Shareholders are across the globe, as I said. You have been given complete freedom. We have trusted you and you've been made the MD, the CEO, the manager, whatever designations. And you've been given handsome salary. Your job is only one. Take them all. Do well for the company. Take good decisions. Let the value of the shares held by the owners is always on the north. So, will they do that? Unfortunately, they are not doing it. You can just see what they do. They take, see, there's a dictum that is been given. You do well. You take whatever you want, but take decisions. But what are these people doing? They're not doing. So, what are they doing? The theory says that, these are the theories. You ask the practitioners, they will say theory is only there in the books. I will disagree. Whatever the practices that have come across, the practices have been researched and they have been made as theories. On the basis of all the researches that has happened, all the practices that have happened, and the researches that have happened because of the practices, you come out with certain models and say that academicians say, no, this is good, this is bad, this is ugly. But the practitioners say, you people don't know, you're sitting inside an ivory tower and making all these researches and coming out with certain models which do not have any application value. But now let me tell you, this McLean theory, 1976, whatever that he has told has happened in real field. In the context of this entire presentation, this slide appears to be the one which is going to be the key slide. What do? They have excessive consumption of perquisites themselves because they are on the sitting table now. They are the people who are going to take a decision on their own salary. First thing that the board of directors do is to revamp their own salary. It happened in Infosys. This particular thing happened in Infosys. When I take Infosys as an example in the next presentation, I will tell you. Manipulating earnings and dividends. This has been a kind of a pattern in corporate. An accepted pattern in corporates. What do? They collide with the statutory auditors. They change the numbers to their advantage. Accounting, finance numbers, margins, profits. They inflate. And it has happened with many of the companies. The inflating, maneuvering, maximizing the size of the firm rather than its value. We call it as empire building. This is the actual reason for Vijay Mallya's fall. This is the actual reason for Anil Ambani's misfortune. Because you can just see failure seems to go to their heads. This is A rare kind of a mentality that is, being seen in Indian businessman. Typical Indian businessman will not accept the failure. Failure goes to his head. Failure seems to go to their head. They don't accept. They will completely pump in good money to chase bad money. They want to get into different diversified businesses. They want to maximize the size rather than the value. They want to get into businesses which are unrelated to them so far. Then siphoning off of corporate assets. Siphoning off of corporate assets means using corporate business, the cash flows which are generated in the main business, and diverting those cash flows to a business which does not have any identity. We call them as shell firms. Focal firm is the main firm. You happen to be a board of director. What you do is you siphon off the money and put it into some family businesses in which your own wife, relative, friends, children will become the MDs. They're not, doing that with their money, but they're doing it with the money of the business that they're the director of. Excessive diversification, see the spelling, diversification. Unrelated businesses, the businesses which you never know, you want to enter into that because you want to build an empire. See, some of the, points are interdependent. Sometimes maximizing the size of the firm and diversification go together. Siphoning off corporate assets and manipulating earnings also go together. Need not necessarily that one company resort to one means. Sometimes all the things are being done simultaneously by a single company. Bias towards investments in near-term payoffs. This is exactly being done by the mother of the giant of all the scandal, Enron scandal. I'll come when I'll use all these words which I remember, and I will use it when I take up the presentation in the next class, next session. Yes, I'm coming to the end now. 3 o'clock is the time, if I believe. Am I right? Because I started 5 minutes late, I will take 2-3 minutes extra. Okay. And then packing the board. Packing the board means what? While the directors do this, do a single director do this? There's a board of directors. 4 to 5 of them, 6 to 7 of them. All of them collide. See, it is a pack of lemons. Not that one person does. Everybody is a beneficiary. So the entire team does. So it's a team of lemons. It's a syndicate of lemons. It is a syndicate of packing the board. The entire board is packed with lemons. Everybody wants to have a share in the cake. Everybody. So this is what agency theory has asked us, See, this will happen. Be careful. Have a tab on their, intentions. Monitor them closely. Don't give them complete freedom and leave. Because it is not their money, it is public money, public money, hard-earned money. So they're sitting on public money and they may resort to this. Be careful. But all the examples that I've shown you in the beginning, and all the examples that we are going to discuss in the later stage, would very clearly say that whatever the apprehensions which are raised by this theory have become true in reality. Contract. He talks about dysfunctional behavior. I'll use the other two theories in the next class. I'll stop at this because there is a connection between agency theory and it's an extension. So now, why do agents or the managers resort to this kind of a behavior? You can see the second point. Principal cannot directly observe agent's performance. So moral hazard. And compensation is based on observable and verifiable performance measures. So you're paying for performance. What do they show? They will show the numbers. They will show the margins. They will say, this is the margin that you have given to me. This is the profit that as a target, I have achieved the target. How do you achieve the target? Whether the means justify the ends is a big $1 million question. How did you achieve? Did you resort to dysfunctional behavior? Yes. What is dysfunctional behavior? See, very clearly he has, applied, Oliver Hart has applied this to teaching profession. I will tell you, I have read this theory. He says it can be clearly applied in a teaching. See, government appoints you and you are the agent. Government is the principal. Government pays you salary. For what? You are supposed to give credible value by taking classes and doing research in such a way that students emerge as responsible citizens of this country. You're not supposed to teach, only teach. You have to completely, transform their personalities. That is your job. But what do the teachers, some of the teachers do? They're interested in giving only grades. I've seen many in my lifetime of 30 years, that there are teachers who give complete full internal assessment marks to the students. And the students give them very good ranks, grades, because he has given them full marks. Now the question is, who are lemons? The teachers are lemons or students are lemons? Students only want internal assessment marks. Students want only grades. And then the assessment will be done in API, academic performance indicators. They will say, you should have 5 articles before you have been placed as an associate professor. You will make 50 articles. Because for you, sky is the limit. Teaching, where is the teaching being evaluated? We want points, huh? You want points, and you will restrict all your energies into making the parameters which are verifiable, which are quantifiable, where your credibility as a teacher is not quantified anywhere. How do you quantify? You quantify on the basis of the academic performance indicator, which is largely into your research and publications, and the grades that your students score, then the pass percentages, high number of passes in the percentage, 100% result. But you are looking at only that point. So a teacher trying to make students pass the examination and then write it in his that all my students have passed, all my students have got distinction, and you are being promoted. But what is the value addition that you have done? Did you create, it is said that as a teacher, you are creating society. I mean, you're building nation within the 4 walls of a classroom. Are you really doing it? Are you being very selfish and doing anything that gets you promotion, placements, and neglect teaching in the classroom? And if you do so, you're again suffering from moral hazard. When a teacher corrupts himself, the entire society gets corrupt. So he gives this, Oliver Hart makes a mention very categorically, saying that for teachers, my theory is going to be more applicable. Don't resort to moral hazard. Don't get into dysfunctional behavior. And I'm putting this across in the context of a corporation, but all these theories could be for us also. So at this point in time, I'll just take a break. If there are any discussions that you may have, because again, it's not a live class. I would in fact have told Mr. Our coordinator to have only live classes for me. If it is online classes, let me take a day off, because I know, having taught all these things, putting the camera on, making them to listen in an afternoon, ತೆಗ್ದ್ಬಿಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇದು ಲೈವ್ ತೆಗ್ದ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.